The Denver Broncos have pretty much filled out their practice squad as they have made 15 of the 17 available signings to that unit. As far as the only player who was not with the Broncos throughout training camp, that is tight end Donald Parham, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to do a full-blown deep dive video into Parham because I think this is a really good signing for the Broncos. And spoiler alert, it could spell bad news for a certain fan favorite tight end here in Denver. But as far as the rest of these players, they were all with the team throughout training camp. Mike Burton and Little Jordan Humphrey were assigned to the practice squad. Those guys are vested veterans that the Broncos are anticipating promoting on game days. They will likely play week 1 in Seattle per George Payton. So at the end of the day, the practice squad is almost like an extension of the active roster because of the promotions. It wasn't like that pre-COVID. You weren't able to promote guys on game day to the active roster from the practice squad. Now you can do that. That's probably the best thing that the whole COVID season in 2020 brought to the NFL is the new practice squad rules where you can now have up to 16 players, 17 counting the international pathway player, that all teams are now required to have. Everybody has to have one international pathway player on their practice squad. And then also, you can now have vested veterans on the practice squad. There's no more practice squad eligibility. Every single player in the NFL is practice squad eligible. Technically speaking, Patrick Mahomes is practice squad eligible. So there's no more years accrued that you have to have in order to make the practice squad. You don't have to be a third-year player or lower, I believe it used to be. You can be a 8-year veteran and still be on the practice squad. That's what's happening here with guys like Mike Burton and Little Jordan Humphrey, and to an extent Donald Parham as well, who's been in the NFL for a minute now. Other guys who have signed include Reese Taylor, the DB, who made some really nice plays throughout the course of training camp. Will Sherman, the former Buffs guard. Thomas Yasmin, the tight end. He's the Broncos international pathway player from Australia. Really good athlete. Still kind of trying to learn the tight end position a little bit. So he's going to be the developmental piece on this practice squad at that position for this year, along with Donald Parham. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos added another body at tight end as well. Also, Jordan Miller, defensive lineman, big nose tackle. I know the Broncos really like his potential. Dondre Tillman, who really emerged on the edge rush unit. Keep an eye out also for Thomas Incoom to possibly sign to the practice squad. Another guy I would keep an eye on is Jonas Griffith. Those two guys are both mulling their options right now with other teams, but odds are that they will return to Denver's practice squad when everything is said and done. David Sills is back. Nick Gargiulo is back, the 7th round pick, offensive lineman. He's mostly an interior guy. Tyler Beatty, the Broncos were able to get him back in the fold after his monster preseason. Quentin Newsom, the DB out of Nebraska, made some really nice plays in that preseason finale. Matt Henningsen, he's been a good rotational defensive lineman for the Broncos over the last couple of years. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he gets promoted a time or two this season. Tanner McAllister, who really rose up over the course of the preseason, and then Michael Bandy. You guys may be wondering, where's Brandon Johnson? Where's Jalen Virgil? Where's Demontre Jacobs, the offensive tackle? Well, those guys ultimately ended up moving on to greener pastures. Brandon Johnson is going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Virgil is going to sign with the Buffalo Bills practice squad. Elijah Garcia, the defensive lineman who the Broncos really liked, he's going to sign with the Giants practice squad. And then finally, Demontre Jacobs ended up getting claimed off waivers by the New England Patriots. That was the only player that the Broncos had claimed off waivers, and they did not claim any players off waivers themselves. So that's where things stand right now. In terms of the Broncos practice squad, I anticipate a couple more moves. I would probably have to guess Thomas Incoom and Jonas Griffith are the final two players, but Could be wrong. It could be somebody from outside the building, or it could be somebody else from inside the building that the Broncos really like. All right, Broncos country, let me know in the comment section below. How do you guys feel about the practice squad starting to take shape, and what are your thoughts about the current state of this roster? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.